Okay, let's get started. Hey horrifics, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single Friday. Well, today is Thursday. As you can see on the title on today's video, I'm going to be giving you my full review with spoilers of the 5th episode of American Horror Stories Baal. I am not really completely sure how that is pronounced, but basically that's the title of the episode. As always, all my reviews are with spoilers. If you don't want the spoilers, description box down below. There you're going to find all my spoiler-free reviews because I like to give you guys the two options. So, giving that disclaimer ahead, let's get into the video. Now, this one, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have that much hope since the last episode for me was the worst. Of course, I already did the review of that. I'm going to leave it right here if you're interested in watching it. So, of course, American Horror Stories has been like going down ever since the beginning, because its first two were kind of okay. They were about murder house. The third one, okay, we can manage, but the fourth one, that was trash, seriously. So for this one, I didn't really know what to expect, but this one, it was a little bit interesting. Now, basically, this episode, we have a couple that it has been trying for 2 years already to get pregnant, but nothing seems to work. And the woman, she's decided that it's actually portrayed by Billie Lourd. She's decided that she wants a baby that she don't want to adopt or maybe like surrogate because she wants to get pregnant. So she is decided. She's rich, so of course she has the money for it because that's expensive. So when she's deciding that she's going to do the whole process again, she needs to wait 8 weeks. And when she's about to do the appointment, the girl that is on the front desk, she's like, I have been watching you here for 2 years and I am with you and this is why I have this for you. And she puts a totem on the desk. Now, it doesn't really have a shape or a form. Like you could say that it's kind of a person, but it doesn't have like a defined form. So we don't really know what it is. And she's telling her that belonged to her family for a long time, and that it's supposed to help with fertility, and that you put it under the bed, you do your thing, and it's supposed to help you get pregnant. She doesn't really ask most questions about it, but she doesn't really believe it at first, but she's like willing to try anything at this point. So of course she put it under the bed. She and her husband had sex, obviously, and we jump to 16 months later, and she had the baby, of course, and she's holding the baby, but she's regretting becoming a mother. Being mother is not precisely what she expected, and she kind of feels like her baby is rejecting her as if it doesn't recognize her as the mother. So of course she's going insane. But her husband, who is an actor because he's having some small acting parts on TV shows like NCS, he's basically telling her, you're probably on postpartum and that's completely normal and you're going to be okay. And he suggests to her that she should go to a therapist. That is actually portrayed by Vanessa Williams, that in case you don't know, it's from the original Candyman and is reprising her role on the upcoming Candyman that is coming in about 3 weeks. Yeah, basically at the end of the month. So we have Vanessa Williams on this episode too. She goes, and of course the therapist, she suggests some things like maybe some detox baths and talking a certain way and doing other things. And they kind of seem to start working. And we see that she's more happy, she's more calm, and she is like completely fine with being a mother and the baby and everything. Now she hears something by the baby monitor, and when she goes to the room, she kind of hears things, but she doesn't really see anything. She's like, what the hell is happening? And she kind of remembers that 16 months ago, she put up something under the bed. But the difference is that when she takes it out, it has a more defined form. And it kind of has some wings and some horns, but it's not fully defined. She put it on a shoebox, she leave it there, and she kind of forgets about that. But when she's looking on the baby monitor again, at night, she starts hearing things. She sees something. It's kind of the same form as the totem. And she goes and she kind of calms the baby, but she's like seeing and hearing things. And she even eventually finds the totem on the baby's crib. And when the housekeeper saw it, she kind of goes because that's from the devil, because it's on a complete form and kind of looks like the devil with the horns, the wings, everything. So of course now we have her that is becoming paranoid because she's hearing things, she's seeing things. She even on the baby monitor of the recordings, she kind of played a little bit with the sound, so like she could really hear what the hell was the static saying, because it kind of hears a voice and it says, "I want him," and she's going crazy, and her husband is like, "You're just going crazy. I don't hear anything. This is nothing." So of course he doesn't really treat her as if something is actually happening. Now he invites some friends over to the house, to her house actually. One of his friends actually has a Ouija board. They decide to play with it. At first, the first letter that it says in the first phrase, it was one of the friends. But eventually it does really starts moving. She does the question and she says like, "What do you want to say to us?" And it says, "He is mine." Of course, referring to the baby. She goes crazy. He's telling her that he's embarrassed by how she is like behaving, and she's like, "I don't really care. I mean, it's my baby." So of course she obviously believes in all that is happening, and he's not. So eventually she finally gets and finds the girl who gave her the totem. I think for me that would be the first thing to do. Go and find the girl. I mean, give it back. It's been 16 months, and she says that she forgot that one thing was under the bed. So she goes and finds her, and she's like, "You gave me this, now you're going to help me how to solve this." And she's like, "I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought it was a fertility god, it wasn't a demon." And she has a lot of books and stuff in her house because she's into paganism, and she said that really helped her with her life and everything. And she eventually gives her a summoning spell that is supposed to like get rid of anything. So she tries it, and when she's about to finish, she has a dagger, and she kind of does this movement, and her husband appears because her husband was working that night. She accidentally stabs him here. But of course, with the behavior that she had before, 2 weeks later, she's into a mental institution. And her husband is like so supportive, and "You're going to be okay." She's like, "I'm not getting out of here until I am not okay." And I'm like, "Really? Like, really?" And he leaves. But when he leaves, his face is fishy, and you're like, "Why did you have that face?" And when he gets to the car, the girl from the desk, the one that gave her the totem, it's on the car, and they start kissing. And they are all celebrating on the house. All the friends that were on the Ouija board night, because it was all of tricks from all of them, because they work on the film industry, because he's an actor, and they all have like the equipment. So they put on fog, they put on a costume, the sound, they play with everything so that they can make her think that she was going crazy, so that the husband could get the money and then split it with all of them. That's a small dick energy if you ask me. But that night when they are on the house, the demon appears and kills all of them except from the husband. And we kind of move forward, and he is in jail. And obviously she gets out of the mental institution since he had to confess. Of course, he confessed what he did to her, because the baby was still like on the house. He doesn't really care about the baby, and the whole reason that he did this was because he didn't want a baby, and he kind of felt forced. He even made some things to like have a low sperm count, so she didn't get pregnant. So of course it was all tricks from them for over 2 years. And he was like so tired that he asked his friends to do this. Sick, if you ask me. Now he's basically the guilty one of killing his friends, because of course no one believes that it was the demon. But at the end, basically at the last 5 minutes, is when we realize that the whole thing was actually real. The demon does exist, and the spell that was given to her, it was real. So she has the paper with her on the hospital, and she tries the spell again, and she summons him, and she asks him to do what he did, that was killing all of them and framing her husband, well, ex-husband. And basically she leaves him on jail because of course she's not going to help him. And the last scene of the episode is basically her with the baby on the house, and the demon appears saying to now release me, because we could say that it's kind of an agreement that what she did with him. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to. And she kind of lays on the bed and she's like, but you're going to give me another baby first. And that's how it ends. Now, this type of thing with babies from the devil, we have seen it previously, of course. I mean, Murder House, how everything started. But I still think that it was quite interesting. It wasn't as bad as the other episodes because it managed to not be completely predictable. Because at least to a certain point, you kind of know what's going to happen. But by the end, I didn't really never expected that it was everything 100% real and that she kind of did something on it. So of course it has some elements, the characters, they're okay. The husband, you will hate it. So I really think that it's not as bad as the episodes that has been released. So this one, it's way more enjoyable. It's a little bit longer than the last one. The last one was pretty short, thank you God. But this one is a little bit longer, but it doesn't really matter or didn't bother me since it's really fast paced. It doesn't feel rushed, but it goes pretty quickly. So I think that they really manage the timing, how everything goes. So basically that's all of what I have to say about it. It's worth watching it, it is. But it's not like the best episode yet. Well, this is the last episode. It's supposed to be coming next week, so I don't know what to expect of the last episode of this spin-off, but at least they get a little bit better on this one. With a 3.5 and a 7.8. A 7 out of 10. That will be my rating. And this is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Bye!